there are a few things that I really love, and sci-fi is one of them, and dinosaurs are another. So when about a month or so ago, I started seeing these ads on my social media feed for the project that we're talking about tonight. I was super excited, and then once I realized the mind behind it was a friend of mine, I was even more excited about it. So tonight we're going to be talking about the time traveler's guide to dinosaur hunting for 5e. This is a project that's currently on Kickstarter right now. It's got uh, almost 2,000 backers. It's at like $300,000 in funding almost. If you're excited and interested about any of this thing that we're talking about tonight, go check out the Kickstarter link in the description. And yeah, I think you're going to be really, really pumped about adding dinosaur hunting to your 5e games. And we've got Daryl Jones on here to chat about it and how he came up with the idea for this and what it all entails. So stick around. We're going to be talking dinosaur hunting for 5e. Hey everyone, welcome to Victory Condition Gaming. My name is Doug. Today on the show, we are going to be talking with Darryl T. Jones from Splattered Inc. about a time traveler's guide to dinosaur hunting. This is a couple books that are on Kickstarter right now. They look really amazing with some crazy, awesome looking art with all sorts of options to time travel and hunt dinosaurs all throughout various timelines, and it's just we'll show off the Kickstarter here in just a little bit. But if you're interested in this, like I said, hit the link in the description. If you enjoy dinosaurs, hit that like button down below, and then let me know what dinosaur is your favorite, and I'll let you know. I think I like the T-Rex the best. I think that's mine, my favorite. But yeah, if you are a fan of tabletop role-playing games and all sorts of awesome creators that make all these games, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I love featuring folks like Daryl on this show and getting to spotlight all their creativity and their awesome projects that they put out. So with that being said, let's bring Daryl on to talk A Time Traveler's Guide to Dinosaur Hunting. Daryl, what's going on?
Hey, Doug. I'm so glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of
Um,
course.
you've been a big part of my journey into the gaming circle, and getting behind the curtain, so to speak. But I mean, the gaming community is so cool anyway. But you definitely have been a good friend, and I appreciate your advice and letting me do shows like this. So it's very
Well,
very fun.
I'm excited to have you on, and I think the last time we had you on, you were doing the acrylic tokens, the
Right.
top-down tokens, and you. The last update that you had put out on Kickstarter. Here, let's put you on the solo layout, and you can show those off a little bit. The last Kickstarter update that you sent, that they're getting pretty close to being shipped out, I think. To
Yeah, we
backers.
actually, I got news today that they arrived at the warehouse today.
Oh
So
wow.
yes, the next update will then be out hopefully. Well, it's Wednesday, isn't it? So it'll be either like Friday or Monday when I actually officially send that out to the rest of the backers, because I'm super swamped right now with doing another Kickstarter, which is exciting, right? Like amazing that I get to keep doing this job and people keep supporting my work. So
Well, let's take a look at this Kickstarter that you've got going on right here. Time Traveler's Guide to Dinosaur Hunting. Like $285,000 in funding plus, it's over that.
yeah,
1,963 backers. You've got over 2 weeks left to go. Like, I guess
yeah,
we can't underestimate the love of dinosaurs in gaming. I guess I think we need to have more of that because people love dinosaurs from the looks.
yeah. I couldn't agree more. It so seemed like when we were thinking about what type of projects we wanted to do until we do our next Seeds of Decay project,
Right.
we wanted to do something big and a little bit over the top. And, because Seeds of Decay, while it has sort of the whimsy kind of style, which is, so I'm not super serious. I'm not trying to say that, but it is a little more of a sincere product, if that makes sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so we want to do something fun and crazy. And that's where this idea sort of started. My son's a huge dinosaur fanatic, so much so that he has even talked about wanting to go study um, genetic engineering and become Dr. Hammond. Um, whether that pans out or not, I don't know. But like he was talking about it every day for most of his high school. So I learned more and more about dinosaurs. And now, when this project started formulating or brainstorming for it, dinosaurs was the top of the list, and it only took a few conversations with my colleagues and friends to be like, "Yeah, that's it. That's what we're going to do." And there's not a lot out there. There's some, and I'm sure there's some that are really good. But it's been really fun to get to dig in this for myself. I'm like a kid again, learning all about
For
the
sure.
Allosaurus and the T-Rex and the Carnotaur and all the differences between those three and whatnot. So
So speaking of, so now that you've done all this research, and I mentioned your favorite dinosaurs, what's your favorite dinosaur that you've been
yeah.
reading about and researching for this project now?
Well, so it's funny because I keep finding one and then it'll lead to another and then that will become my favorite. Then it'll lead to another.
Okay.
Um, but the Argentinosaurus, when I started the project, was my favorite. Um, and then it switched to the Dreadnoughtus, which is there's a debate about whether the Dreadnoughtus or the Argentinosaurus would have been the bigger one because there's a lot that's hard to tell. Like how old was the fossil they found? Could this one actually
Hmm.
becoming big? Would have been bigger if it lived longer? That kind of thing. Um, and then I just recently stumbled on I think it's the Patago Titan. Um, so it's Patagonia, but it's a Titan. So it's another one that is in that same class as the Argentinosaurus and Dreadnoughtus. And so if you can't tell, I like the really big dinosaurs.
Sure, sure.
And this to me is just because being a visual person. I visualize this stuff. And for this story or these stories, that was part of my instruction when working with the writers and stuff like that. I want people to feel what it would feel like if a skyscraper just stepped up next to you, right? So that concept alone is why I gravitate towards these. Like, the leg of this thing that just stood up next to you is like the size of a redwood tree, right? You could drive your car through it. So it's mind-boggling to think that was a living creature that walked around, and yeah, so it's fascinating and fun, and I think, yeah, I really want to create some moments for players for years to come, I hope, where they at least can imagine that their characters are in awe, but hopefully they are in awe just because
Sure.
they get so immersed, right? Um, because as RPG players, we all have stories of game sessions that we played, 10, 20 years ago because it sticks in our memory like that. And I think that's a big part of why this is such a captivating subject.
For sure. Sure. So you mentioned writers on this project. I know that there's a few. Took a look at your Kickstarter page previously. There's a lot of familiar names that I know personally that
Yeah.
are writing on this project. Do you want to give a shout out to some of the writers that you've got working on this for you?
Yeah, I'd love to. I couldn't do it without them. That's part of why I'm excited about this project from a business perspective, because I know I've built a team that's going to prevent me from being the bottleneck as the writer and artist. So now I have this team. I'm going to be more the art director. And but we've got Jeff Grubb, who is one of the OG D&D writers. He wrote Spelljammer. He contributed to Dragonlance. He's done a ton of amazing, amazing work. And if you look at the Kickstarter page, the brain gorger with the squid-faced velociraptors are his from his story. So that's pretty exciting. Craig Sawyer is a friend of mine. He's written a couple novels. He has also written a dungeon crawler board game. So this is officially his first D&D product, but he is very familiar with how to write that sort of narrative, player-focused story. And but he is writing the Nameless One, and one of our stretch goals, which was Once Upon a Time in the Weird West. So the Nameless One is a ice mountain horror kind of The Thing meets Cliffhanger. And then Once Upon a Time in the Weird West is going to be super nuts. It's steampunk, Wild West, Clint Eastwood riding a velociraptor. So
that's awesome. I love
that. Utah Raptors. Sorry, it's Utah Raptors, the big one, not the little one. I have to get that stuff right now, right? If I get it wrong, people will tell me.
Oh, you're going to get called out on it for sure.
Yeah. There's a bunch more. Let me get my brain organized. My friend Ben Palmer is writing a story where we've already gone through like World War III, and we're kind of in this post-apocalyptic world, and then trying to something or another, scientists bring dinosaurs back to life and turn them into giant weapons. So we have the Giga Rex, which that art is also on the page. It's the cybernetic T-Rex. The Unstoppable Force with that guy. We have Jenny Loveday. She is writing a really cool like underworld adventure. So kind of there's that, is it the third Ice Age movie or the fourth Ice Age movie where they go under the earth and they find another world under there? So it's not a cartoon, but you know what I mean. It's that concept. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then Alan Patrick is writing the opposite. He's writing a story where they're on floating islands, and the flying dinosaurs versus the land-based dinosaurs are having this conflict, and you have to help resolve the conflict. What else? There is so much more in my brain. Alex Kammer is writing a Predator-inspired jungle,
nice,
which is going to be really cool. The Rehisaurus is on the page also. So you've got to imagine, you've got I think was inspired by a Ceratosaurus. But anyway, it's one of those big theropods like a T-Rex. It's evolved to the point that its intelligence is 16. It has telepathic powers that allows it to have pack tactics with other CR10 theropods. And it has a psychic blast that it can, hit you with at range. So this is clearly the most terrifying dinosaur ever created.
For sure.
Yeah. We have Under the Dome, or not Under the Dome. That's a Stephen King book. It's just called The Dome.
The Dome, okay.
The Dome. I'm writing that, and it is a Jurassic Park inspired. So it is the story of a dinosaur park. And somehow the players get into the park, but they are also trapped in the park with the dinosaurs and have to figure out the mystery as to how that park came to be and all that stuff.
Nice.
In the Jungle, Nobody Cares If You Scream is another one of mine. That is the Undead Gigantosaurus that's on the cover of the book.
Very cool.
And I'm probably forgetting somebody or something, but there's a lot. Yeah.
Some great writers there. Some folks that have some great accomplishments in the TTRPG space. So that's awesome that you're getting to collaborate with so many wonderful, talented people with this project.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't forget Zach Goins. Everybody knows Zach.
Zach. Yeah.
Yeah. So with Limithron currently, but he's writing the Hardoon, which is a Mad Max inspired adventure. So that one is amazing. We've got vehicles that are retrofitted with dinosaur tusks or mammoth tusks and whatever. I mean, it's super cool.
Yes.
So there's that too. Yeah.
Michelle says, please say more about Undead Dinos.
Yeah, undead dinos are pretty awesome. We've got one behind me right here. That is our skeletal Allosaurus. We also have a few other skeletal dinosaurs, which are part of a different adventure, one that I haven't mentioned, called the Neverling. The undead Gigantosaurus is again from the No One Cares, or In the Jungle Nobody Cares If You Scream, and he is just marauding around, the king of the jungle, so to speak, hunting for brains. Like literally, we're going full classic zombie with him,
Nice.
but he's basically unkillable. So there's a problem with that, and the shard. So we haven't talked about shards. The idea for the time travel is that at some point a wizard was trying to create a little pocket dimension, and the spell backfired, and it threw these shards across time and space and all different realities. So wherever one of those shards landed, time travel was eventually developed. It was not time travel itself, but it was like the idea or the spark or the shard or whatever you want to call it that eventually led somebody to develop that technology. So that way, all these universes have kind of a unique, independent story, but they're still all connected. Anyway, so the undead Gigantosaurus ends up with a piece of actual shard material inside him, and you have to get it out. So real true dinosaur monster hunting style for that one. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see here. White Foxes love the shard system. Already thinking of ways to add some to my world.
Nice.
Very cool. And Walter seems to think that's a cool origin. Michelle says, awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've talked about the premise of these books, but let's actually talk about the books themselves. Let's show folks what they're actually pledging for on this Kickstarter.
Here's the Gigarex.
Look at that Gigarex. That is awesome. Now, are you doing all of the art for these books? Is this all
no
art?
Yeah, no, I am art director for these books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I did not do any of the art you can see on the current Kickstarter page, though I will definitely be contributing, but I am not going to be the bottleneck, like I said. So
gotcha.
I am going to make sure that the story's tight and that the product is pristine. Like that's my goal, because I really want this to be something that, well, I mean, to use a business term, I want it to be evergreen for me. Like I want it to be a product that we can sell into the future, that will be able to, to say the cliche thing, make people happy for years to come.
Oh, I don't doubt it will. It looks awesome. Do you want to give some of your artists a shout out that you've got working on it? Because I'll be honest with you, the art just like pulled me in as soon as I saw it come on my in my social media, and then I was just like, then I was surprised that it was you, and I was just like, oh man, this is like the best possible combination that could happen. So yeah, if you want to acknowledge a couple of your artists, because I'm going to tell you, they're doing a great job capturing a lot of people's interest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll start with Alex Petrick, I believe is how you say her last name. She is the one who did the Allosaurus behind me. She also worked on Seeds of Decay. So she was the first artist that I worked with outside of myself on a project. And she does a lot for me now, and will hopefully continue to as we move forward. We have Marcelo, who is also known as the Carpet Crawler. He did the cover for the main book, so the big undead Gigantosaurus, and he will do more, but we started with that for him. And then we have Ryan Bintner, who did the Therizinosaurus that's on the cover of the Bestiary. And he's done a lot. So if you scroll down, you'll kind of recognize he's got a little bit more of a brushy impressionist style. The tokens are still me.
Yep.
And but yeah, like that Spinosaurus, that's Alex right there.
Very cool.
We have a few other artists. I would have to look up their names, but those are the three that will be doing the majority of the work. But everyone will definitely get credit in the book. Like that's not the issue. But that's Ryan's. That's actually the nameless one from Craig's Adventure, but that's Ryan's art there.
Cool.
Of course, I'm the graphic designer still. But yeah,
you've got
a lot of stuff.
Two books that it looks like the main products are the two books, the Time Traveler's Guide to Dinosaur Hunting, and then the Dino Bestiary, which
yes,
and it's over 600 pages of content.
Right. We are.
That's crazy.
It would be.
That's crazy.
It'd be surprising if it was under 700 now, because we've added some stretch goals, and it's just going to be a lot. I mean, I know how many pages Seeds of Decay ended up when I estimated 300 and ended up 440. So it'll be all right.
That's a lot of content. That's yeah.
Well, once we started calling it the biggest dinosaur themed supplement for 5e, we decided to make sure it was going to stay that way for a while.
Sure.
Yeah. So a lot of fun.
So it looks like you can get a PDF tier for $59. So I mean,
but
for 600 pages,
yeah,
but right, like 600 pages of, or you said it's probably going to be 700 now, but for $59, that seems like a crazy amount, a crazy deal. Like that seems like a crazy value for that much content.
Yeah.
And then you have a VTT tier. Is that for a specific VTT? Is it for Roll20?
Alchemy, Foundry, or Roll20.
Oh, nice.
So we do have both books on all three of those, and that's super cool. You could also, there is a slightly cheaper version where you can just get the assets if you want them and build your own. Because what you're looking at there doesn't show all the tiers; it's just kind of the highlights. And yeah, and then the both books is both books, and plus the PDF. So we throw those in there.
Okay,
and,
sure.
Game Ready comes with the typical goodies: your GM screen and dice and character sheets, and the cards. The cards are kind of a big deal. Again, speaking from Seeds of Decay, that ended up being one of the best add-ons, is just to be able to have your book open for the adventure, but then you've got the cards with the references for the stats.
I love that. Anything that lets you kind of stay in game and not have to like go look it up in a book and kind of like have your face in a book to look something up, and just have like a quick reference card gets the thumbs up for me. So I can see how that would be super successful.
Yeah. Yep. So, and then the bigger tier after that, it comes with tokens, which those are a big part of it. So there's some expense associated with it, but it's going to be super cool.
Now, I will tell folks that if you're interested in seeing more, there is I'm picturing it on the screen, but there is a free quick start to kind of take a look at, and I downloaded it about a week ago, and I really enjoyed thumbing through it and reading it and seeing what Daryl has planned for this. Look at that! I love it. Like, you got some amazing art in this project, and I'm just so excited for you. So
this is Alex here again. I mean, she's just so. I'm so thrilled to be able to work with her, because she's got just a touch of the whimsy that I like for my work, but it still has enough grittiness that it works in this. And that guy riding the, I think it's an Ostroraptor. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. With the T-Rex, is so good. I mean, that's what I want. That's what I want right there, like as a player. And I get to make it as the guy making it. So yeah.
So cool. And then you can actually play as dinosaur characters. You got some dinosaur heritage characters options. Is that what I saw?
Yeah.
Insane character builds, like.
Yeah. So we've had one of those light bulb moments where we were trying to figure it out, because there's hundreds of dinosaurs, and there's all these subsets and all these different families and oh, I forgot the word. There's a lot of words. Now I'm gonna get my dinosaur knowledge called out. But all these groupings, we'll just call it that.
Yep.
And the light bulb moment was that we realized that there's families. So how can we allow players the maximum amount of flexibility, but still give some mechanical reference to the type of dinosaur they want to play? So families. So like Stegosauridae is the family for the Stegosaurus, the Kentrosaurus, and about 4 or 5 others. So if we do that family as your species, or your lineage rather, then you can select which specific dinosaur you are so that you can look like whatever you want. And mechanically, it doesn't make any difference. You still have spikes, right? You're one of those guys with spikes. And it just opened up the whole world, I think, for players in that case. Because yeah, you want to play Tyrannosaur, then you can pick from the Carnotaur or the T-Rex, and whatever those distinctions are that you want to focus on to make your character feel right to you, go for it. And we'll just handle making sure you've got teeth and claws, or not for them, but but you know what I mean, right?
Yep.
So anyway, but yeah, we started with 6. We actually expanded it to 12 with the stretch goals. Yeah,
stretch goals. Very cool. Now the image that I really, and I've seen this one quite a few times, even outside of Kickstarter, but I love this like this alien worlds, like Valley of the Gorgers, like this whole, like, it's got kind of like a Cthulhu kind of, or I don't know how you want to say it, but it's
awesome.
That just, like, I would buy a print of that. I think that's wicked cool, and I would put that on my wall.
We have art prints available.
Oh, nice.
I mean, they're A3 size, but it's not completely figured out yet. But I did have one of my guys that's doing prototyping for us can print on canvas, and we might throw it up on our website after the Kickstarter. Just be like, you want to buy something really big, and it'd be fun. But so this is Jeff Grubb's adventure, Valley of the Gorgers.
Okay. Yep.
That is a brain gorger. It's of course an illithid, or it's the copyrighted material that starts with mind and ends with flare.
Right.
But then the squid face velociraptors are, so the story is so cool because this is already about time travel, and illithids can already time travel. So in this story, they time traveled to this world, and their ship broke, and while they were there, they've evolved the dinosaurs in that land to become their servants. That's how you end up with the squid face velociraptors. But then you get thrown into that world after the world's already been messed up by somebody time traveling. You have to fix the brain gorgers mess up. So it's like, I don't know what you call it, but it's a kind of a ironic loop. You're not there to fix your mess up. You're there to fix somebody else's. And it's only Jeff, I think, could come up with, you're not the one that's time traveling. I mean, you are, but the issue is that somebody else already did. So it's fun. Yeah.
Always messing with the time continuum. That's what most of the time travel movies are all about. Trying to fix other people's mistakes. Let's take a look now. You've said something about your Kickstarter actually has something about a deluxe cover, but and I think you and I are on the same page where we like to have fancy, nice deluxe cover things, but your mindset for this is that, like, you just want the standard, like the normal book to have like a really super deluxe, high quality cover, and like pretty much every copy is going to be a deluxe copy in that case.
Yeah, that's what I think I would do if I could choose, and in this case, I can. I've actually been working on several other projects as a designer, where I've been designing the deluxe cover for Roll for Combat, if you're familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've done a bunch of deluxe covers, and it's cool and it's fun. Um, and I get the appeal to have that one that's like the foil and it's kind of this abstract illustration versus the full art. But as a artist and seeing all this beautiful work that I'm commissioning and being a part of, I want that to be the cover. I mean, even when I've bought books, you know, like Cobalt Press's Tales of the Valiant, they had a cool deluxe cover, and I kind of wanted it because I wanted to support the deluxeification of a product I really believed in. Except I liked the art better. I liked the regular, you know. So that's the long way to say it's going to have the full art cover, but we're going to add foil to it. We're going to add spot UV to make the black border have a leather-ish texture. And it's going to look really, really slick. So that's what I want. That's what we're doing.
I'm excited. I love
Yeah.
it. The other thing that this Kickstarter kind of leans into that I think is just huge, and we've just seen it take off over the last few years, is 3D printing. You
Hmm.
actually have some options for STLs for dinosaurs
Yeah.
that were part, or there's like an add-on, and then I think, if I remember correctly, there was a stretch goal that like actually gave you 130. Yeah, I almost said 100, but it's 130 STLs of just dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures from
Yes.
each adventure. Like,
It's actually 140 now because we just unlocked another stretch goal.
of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is something I'm super excited about. Obviously, we have 300 design promised dinosaurs in the book. And at that
Mm-hmm.
point, it's too many. I don't want to completely torpedo the project by waiting for someone to sculpt 300 dinosaurs. But I was fortunate enough to meet a artist who actually his day job is sculpting for museums. And he sculpts like full size, you know, museum dinosaurs and other creatures. But as a side gig, he sculpts 3D models, and he already
Yep.
had a big head start on a lot of these because he was doing them for himself. Um,
Ah.
and so I have been able to work with him, and he's got, like I said, a lot of the famous dinosaurs done. But then he did the Therizinosaurus for me. He did the Undead Gigantosaurus, and those are just works in progress still. We've got a lot of details to finalize, and basically another 60 or 70 that he hasn't done that I'll be having him do. But there's a lot already done, so I could do the proof of concept here for the Kickstarter. I mean, and you can see by that Diablosaurus there that he is really good, or
Yeah.
Diabloceratops, sorry. But yeah,
Now, the other thing that's pretty slick is you've got some really epic, like glowing magma dice that actually, when you put them underneath UV light, they kind of like they almost look like that they're like molten lava.
yeah, it
That's
is a
crazy.
UV reactive chemical or mineral that's in this type of stone called Uperlite. It's pretty rare. Apparently, not so rare that you can't get enough to make sets of dice out of. And it's really fun. I mean, I do have a set already.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
sick.
but I can't show you um, the
Okay.
glow. But
Yep.
yeah, it's fading out. The camera's catching it a little bit. But yeah, they're still really pretty. I mean, it's just this nice polished, almost like black marble, which I think
Hmm.
is great in and of itself. But you shine that UV light on it. They're really hard to photograph because the UV light has such a strong blue hue to it. You've got to get a lot of white light on it and then shine the blue.
Sure.
Um, so I didn't take these photos, but it's still, no matter how you do it, it looks really cool. So
And then there's an ooze, primordial ooze dice set that looks also really cool. What are these made out of? They're resin.
yeah, Just
Resin with
sharp
black.
edge resin with black and green swirls. Not
Sick.
mind-blowingly original, but fits the theme. They're pretty. I love sharp edge dice. They look so fun.
Yep.
And wanted to make a cool set. It was less than the $90 stone set. So
Sure.
yeah. So
Very cool.
primordial ooze.
Yeah, might as well lean into it. Lean into it.
Yeah.
Daryl, that is just, you've got so much. And then you've got like you said, your tokens. Now, are there any new tokens that you're making for this Kickstarter that weren't part of the
Yes.
token Kickstarter that you did before? Okay.
Yeah. So there are approximately 290 new ones.
Oh my
Because
God.
we didn't have very many dinosaurs in the first set. So yeah, we're doing all these fresh. They're all going to be based on what's in the book. It's going to be what's in the book.
Yep.
And you'll be, so with the STLs and with the tokens, you will be able to put every creature from the bestiary on your table in some form or fashion.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So much content.
big box. Yeah, it is a lot. And I don't know, I'm tickled. It's like, imagine if you were a kid and you're like, I want a toy and no one has made this toy before. So I'm going to make it. It's going to be whatever I want it to be. And that's what I get to do this month. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Do you have kind of an expected? I know you keep unlocking stretch goals, so I'm guessing that maybe this might have thrown your timeline off a little bit since you launched. But do you have an
Yeah.
expected delivery timeline as far as, or when you think that this should be all kind of out to backers, or when you're hoping to have it out to backers?
Well, art is going to take a lot of time. We have a lot of
Sure.
art to do. Writing, however, is well underway. Like,
Okay.
I should have my first drafts at the end of March for everything, and then there'll still be a lot more like development on the balance and on the monster design and stuff like that. But the stories are going to be written that soon, and I hope to have the alpha PDFs out, in August.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's realistic. Like, but how much it gets held up by art is kind of what is going to be the determining factor. But if we can do that and we get manufacturing rolling and everything, in earnest, then let's say by September, just to give a little time for whatever, then we are delivering next January. If we need more time, I did put June 26th as our delivery date just to add plenty of buffer in there.
Sure.
But I think, again, I am going to not be the bottleneck. I'm going to be the person to push it through this time. So I'm excited to have this roll. And I believe in it. I believe I can do it.
Yeah, I believe you can too. You're doing some really cool projects, and all your previous products have been really cool, and I think that this is just going to take you to the next level. And it'll be nice just to have a dinosaur. We've seen different RPGs kind of like establish themselves as like, oh, they're the pirate RPG, or they're the the sci-fi RPG, or they're the action movie RPG. It'd be neat to have you as like the dinosaur RPG guy. Like that's what you're known for.
Yeah, I will do it. And I think it'll work. I think it'll be really good.
Yeah.
There's so much we can do. And with the way time travel is structured too, we can do so many books. Like there's no reason to stop. And for me, it was important to have a time travel foundation that I could get behind. I don't like all of the multiverse stuff that's happening in pop culture right now, because so little of it to me allows me to suspend my disbelief. But the ones that do, I love it, right? But a lot of them, I'm just like, okay, that's just their tool to make this other thing work. It doesn't feel like it's really integral to the story. so I had to have that shard thing. I mean, and maybe it still sounds simplistic, but for me, it gave me buy-in. So I could then feel confident in any genre and any creature at any time, and that's exciting for me as a writer and as a publisher.
For sure. Let's so we've talked about the Kickstarter. Let's talk a little bit about your plans for 2025 and beyond, and we can let folks know where can they find Daryl this year. I know we talked before before we went live, and you said you're kind of pulling back a little bit from doing conventions and stuff because of, well, I mean, this Kickstarter is going to keep you busy for a large part of the year. But where can folks find you this year, you think?
The next major convention I'm going to is probably going to be Gen Con.
Nice.
I may be able to make some appearances at Gary Con just for one day or something like that, but most likely I'll be waiting till Gen Con to do anything big. We're going to be running a ton of dinosaur sessions. I think I ran 26 sessions last year at Gen Con. I mean, not me personally, but Splattered Ink did. So we'll be probably pushing that again, if not more. And then we'll do Gamehole Con, which has kind of become my home con, even though it's not in my home state. But I've become good friends with Alex, and it's such a good experience every time. And so I'm going to be there. I think we're going to be a sponsor. We're going to try to do a little bit more of a stepping out and making a splash thing. And I wish I could time it this year, but it's going to be impossible. But probably in 26 at Gamehole Con, we will do a writer's panel for these books.
Oh, nice. Okay. Oh,
because almost all these writers go to that convention, so I'll be able to do some sort of thing with the convention and organize that. Hopefully it's not too far removed from right now, but I mean, that's just the only way I can make it work timing wise. But I think it'll still be really cool just to get all those guys together and say, hey, if you got these books, come get them signed and let's ask questions, that whole thing. So
that's very cool. I love Gamehole Con. Alex is putting a great event together every year. It just seems to keep gaining more and more steam. And I'll tell folks that if you, like Janet says, Gamehole Con is the best con. It is, if you are a fan of any TTRPGs, like, go check out Gamehole Con. It's usually in October. It's in Madison, Wisconsin, which you wouldn't think would be like okay, Madison, Wisconsin, but it's actually a nice area and it's a lot of fun. It reminds me of being home, and it's just it's a great community that Alex has kind of cultivated there at his event, and I'm glad that you're putting a lot of those folks that I know from that event and just from the industry at large too on this project, because it's like you assembled the Avengers, all these great people, and they're all good in their own right, but you put them together and they become even better. And I think that's probably a testament as to why your campaign is doing so well, because you're like the Nick Fury, and you assembled the Avengers of TTRPGs, which I love. So.
Yeah, you're not the first person to have called it the Avengers of the TTRPG writers, but you are the first person to call me Nick Fury. So that is. I mean, you got to give credit for credit's due, though, right? Yeah, it might be the obvious assumption, but you're the first person to say it. So, I wouldn't have said it, but I appreciate it. And speaking of which,
oh, there you go, right there. Madison is really nice. It is. It's a great.
It's a beautiful city.
Great city. Yep, it really is. Daryl, if folks want to connect with you on social media, if they want to just follow what your progress of this project, where can folks find Splattered Ink games, and where would you like to send folks to kind of keep it in touch and keep in keep in touch with what you got going on?
For sure. Yeah, the Splattered Ink is my name on all the social media. So Splattered Ink on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. If you don't want to click the link that he has in the description. You can just put in dinosaurs.splatteredinc.com and it will head to the Kickstarter. And you can also, probably the best way, if you want to talk about it, go to our Discord. There's a link on the Kickstarter page. There's a link at all the updates on the Kickstarter page. But our Discord right now is extremely active. It's really fun. I've never had a busy Discord until now, and it is. They're just talking about dinosaurs all the time. There's one whole channel for people proposing their own dinosaur monsters and dinosaur builds, and it's just going constantly. And we are even starting some of our own Discord events. Very cool. My assistant, or I don't know, my main guy, Devin, is putting together, some actual plays and stuff, which are just going to be all fan led. I mean, it's just the community coming together and loving dinosaurs. So it's very cool.
Janet in the chat says, "How do we get a live play of on VCG? Who do we have to sacrifice?" I don't know. We'll have to. I don't know.
I'm all for it. You tell me what to do, Doug.
If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. Also hit that like button, and that lets me know that you want to see it. And we'll bring Daryl back on and do a little session, maybe a little preview. Maybe when the pledge manager goes live, and if folks are watching this after the fact and they're not pledging during the Kickstarter, maybe we could do that, Daryl. I'm just saying.
That would be fun.
I'm not going to make any promises, but we'll have to
chat. We are running a live game on February 12th.
Nice.
It will be one of the, it'll be a pre-edit version of one of the adventures from the book. So you guys can, if you jump at our Discord, then you'll also get all the details for that as it gets revealed. But yeah, we will, with some of the writers and myself as the GM, and you can play too, Doug, but obviously we're live, so I'm not making any promises for you. We can talk about it later.
Sure.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Very cool. All right, I think that's going to do it for this session. I want to thank Daryl for coming on and chatting with us about Time Traveler's Guide to Dinosaur Hunting. It is just super rad. I like we said, I think dinosaurs and TTRPG players kind of go hand in hand. So it just it's one of those things that when you see it like on screen, like it just is like, oh yeah, no, this makes total sense. So.
Yep. It was that no-brainer moment. We're like, oh, no one's done that. Not like we're going to do it. Let's do that. So I'm so glad. Thank you again for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll definitely have to connect later on down the year and have you back on, and I'm sure I'll see you at Gen Con and all those other events as well, and
awesome.
Maybe other events too. We'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully,
Granite City Con.
Granite State Comic Con is also on the table.
Yeah.
So we'll have to chat about that at some point. So.
Great.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Go check out the Kickstarter and the link in the description below. And let me know if you back it, because I have a feeling that a lot of folks are going to be really, really excited about this project. And hopefully you can unlock some more stretch goals for Daryl and keep him even busier in 2025.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Thanks so much. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night. And remember, winning shouldn't be the only victory condition when you get to the table. See you next time.
All right.
Bye now.
Cheers.